I'm going to put out this tip because it's just going to be for really old bikes. It's got a little rust on it, maybe some imperfections in the paint, a little bit of corrosion on the aluminum. You know, I think a lot of people know about cleaning a bike with WD-40. Now, you don't spray it all over the bike and get it on the tires and the seat and even like any place your legs are touching, the footrest, the tires, the brake rotors. You don't spray it on a bike. You spray it on like a cloth, and then you wipe it off with another cloth that's dry. And I use this a lot to clean stuff. This is actually pretty expensive though, because it's a WD-40 specialist penetrant, so it dissolves rust. You know, WD-40 is water displacement. It does kind of take off rust a little bit, but this specialist one does a better job. But you know, I find out that the PB Blaster is probably your best bet. Now, like I said, you don't spray it on a bike, and this is really better for like older bikes. But you know, I think that's a big, you know, you see all these, I'm not going to BS you on anything on this thing, but like I already did these pipes and stuff. You know, see there's like minute rust. I don't know, just some right there. But you know, if you're using a PB Blaster, yeah, it came right off. See that? See? And you want to wipe it down with a dry cloth. Using it, and there was a little, real minute rust starting on this. Got a little wet, you know. You don't want to do the seat. Definitely not. You know, it's not for the leather or anything like that. This fender was getting kind of gritty and stuff. I know it shines because there's oil on it. You know, I know that, but you're gonna wipe it down. Yeah, it's gonna shine because there's oil on it. You know that attracts dirt, of course. But you know, wipe it down, and it's like, see, the thing is, wax doesn't dissolve rust. Wax kind of protects from rust too. It does, but you know, the PB Blaster really works with the aluminum. It gets into pores and stuff, and if there's a little bit of rust someplace, it's going to take it right the heck off. Including, like, a lot of times, you know, it's like pretty cheap. I mean, you can get like you know, Mother's. I'm familiar with all these products, man. I'm like 68, man. You think I don't know all this stuff? I mean, I used to use before they had a lot of these other good cleaners, they used to use Wesley's Bleach White wall tire cleaner to clean a lot of things in you know, on a bike or anything, or in a car that were very stubborn to clean, including the vinyl interiors. But yeah, the thing is, you know, PB Blaster is designed to cut through rust. So if you got oxidation on aluminum, I'm not saying it's going to really polish it up really perfect, but it's quick. That's the thing. Like, don't spray it all over the place. Put it on a rag and rub it on there. But then you get a protective film. Then you wipe it off with a dry rag, and there's still a protective film on it, but it's not going to track that much dirt. You don't want to be doing like the handle grips and stuff like that. But you know, see, this mirror's all grungied up. Takes the bugs off really quick, right? You know, takes any kind of like corrosion off of there really quick. Like I said, it's not for the tires, it's not for the vinyl, it's not for the leather, but it'll work on aluminum. But again, put it on the rag, and you know, this isn't going to be a perfect good, you know, video demonstration, before and after. I'm telling you, this is actually an extremely good idea. It's simple and cheap and quick. And it's something where you don't need any special tools. And I know you're doing it with your hand, you're wiping it down, a little manual labor, but it's a lot quicker, way a lot quicker. And again, this thing is made to penetrate rust. So if you got a little rust starting on your chrome someplace, that's going to provide it. I know there's other products out there, but that stuff's, you get a big can of that PB Blaster, it'll last you forever practically. Just don't go dousing the bike with it. That's stupid. Do not do that. And, you know, wipe off the excess with a dry cloth after you're done. But it does, you know, it does do a stupendous job on it, and to tell you the truth. And, you know, I got my seat coming in here too. I ordered a Mustang seat, probably, you know, I talked on the last video. There's one thing about that seat that it has, I'll put it on another video when it comes in. Also got the shorts that have the gel pad in them that you can ride under you wear under your jeans. That Mustang seat's got these bumpers in it. And actually, I put more money into this bike than the original purchase price when I bought it in '89. That's what's in this bike. Most of it's in the engine. Never thought about getting the seat. And that part of that reason was they used to ride hardtails back, you know, when I bought, you know, this is in '89, right? So when I bought this bike new, they used to ride. There were still like shovel heads were very popular on the road. Evos were some new technology. They were saying, what do we call it? You know, they had the iron head, the flat head, the flat head, the pan head, the knuckle head, and the shovel head. They're thinking, what do you call this? The block head? Actually, they started calling it the Evo Max. Eventually, that's the name that stuck. Sometimes they call it the block head because it looks like a block, right? But nobody, hardly any, you know, this is like all brand new stuff, basically, back then. So people were riding hardtails. Hardtails, man. A lot of people riding hardtails. You know, with Springer front ends and shovels. You know, talking in the 80s, right? You know, this is the late 80s, I guess, 89, but still, you know, they were around. So I'm thinking, why do I need another seat when I got a swing arm, I got springs, and I got shocks? But you know what? The reality is, I was always toughing it out. You know, I'm a Marine, I can handle it. You know what? I started thinking about the safety requirements. And if it wears you out more, you're not going to be as alert on the road. And that's what kind of put me over to get the seat. And there's absolutely no way this seat is going to be as good as the Mustang seat because it's got these 4 rubber bumpers, besides the better foam and everything and the ergonomics and the way the seat's made. I mean, this isn't bad. I could ride this for at least a few hours, but 8 hours, it's brutal. It's brutal. You're squirming around. So, anyway, yeah, figure that's a separate thing I'll be doing later on. But this PB Blaster is, like I said, do not spray it all over the bike. I mean, you may want to do a tiny little spot in there, but just watch where you're spraying it. You know, put it on the cloth, wipe it around. I'm going to go over this thing. But then I know, even after I wipe it down, it cuts the rust, it cuts the bugs. It's not made for that. But I know about this stuff from cars so much, it really does knock out the rust. And this stuff works really good too. I was cleaning the bike with this a lot. But this seems to really clean better. And you just get a big can of that stuff. It works great. Another thing you can use in conjunction with the PB Blaster, these are not any kind of steel. This is like plastic. So it's a non-scratch surface for superior cleaning, dirt and debris removal, especially combined with, you know, the PB Blaster, which is like a lubricant. So if you got, you know, I wouldn't do it on like some, you know, $50,000 show chrome bike, no way. But you know, your average bike you're never going to see scratches from this thing. It looks like it's made out of metal, but it's not. It's a plastic. But I know it scrubs like crazy. I use it on everything. I use these on everything, from the kitchen to the cars, you name it, anything. But if you put a little bit of this on here, you know, it's going to work better than the cloth. And actually, the cloth that works probably the best, you probably think it's not going to work the best, is regular blue jeans, because they're more coarse, and versus cotton towels, blue jeans. But this thing scrubs like crazy. I mean, I use this not just on this bike, but I've been using this for years, and it just gets everything off. But combined with the PB Blaster, and again, you know, you don't want to leave it on there. You just wipe it off, but there's always going to be this microscopic residue, and it's going to keep the rust from forming again. And you know, the bikes get microscopic rust no matter what you do, right? And this isn't for like these, and this is not a tip for freaking these bikes that are not ridden, not in the weather. So, yeah, anyway, I'll tell you one thing I'm glad I did get for this bike a while back was that little windshield. because even it doesn't look bad on a Sportster. I always just hated having a windshield on a Sportster, and it looks like a big garbage bag wagon. Because the Sports is supposed to be light, clean, and sleek design. But that little windshield, especially with that different headlight on there, it looks fine. It looks fine. If I took it off, would it look better? No. No, it actually looks better with the windshield. Because it's not too big. It's no full fairing, but it's enough to take some of that wind off your body. You still got it on your legs, you got it on your arms, your hands, but the main part of your body, it's off of there. So it's another thing I wish I should have got on there a long time ago, because I used to ride years ago in the early 90s in California out in the desert, and you'd be going along like 80, 85 miles an hour. You felt like you were in a blast furnace, and you're trying to hold your head up against the wind. Wears you out, man. If you do a few hundred miles like that on a Sportster without a windshield, I don't care even if it's got a swing arm on it, it'll wear you out. These are things I should have done a long time ago, besides just keep concentrating on upgrading the engine stuff, the internals on the engine. But, this is why you keep Harleys, man. You keep them, no matter what they do, they always do something not perfect in the factory, or not good enough, or maybe not as good as they could have. But you can always modify them later on, because stick with the same bike. If you like that bike, stick with it. I think the one bike that I like the most, that's like a newer one, is the Dyna. But I wouldn't get a brand new one. A Dyna. Dyna's like a lighter. It's more, these big heavy touring bikes. I don't like them, man. I mean, I don't do touring anyway. But if I was going to do touring, it'd probably be myself. If I had a wife or something, I'd probably have to have a bigger bike for sure. Because this bike, you can go long distances on it, 1 up, but 2 up, if she weighs 99 pounds, I guess it would be fine. But that's not the woman you got today. So anyway, over now. All right, just took it out for a 3-hour ride. It's doing okay. The seat's not bad for 3 hours, but I don't know if it's good for 10 hours.